You guys already know what's up. It's part 3, so let's go. The audio for the sound effects are good, however, the voice acting is just way too quiet and mumbly. It's also very noticeable when you're using reused frames, and I do that too, however, you have to make sure that it's not very noticeable, especially when you don't want it to be. Otherwise, it just comes off as lazy. I believe I did mention this in the short form review, but I really like how you had the parts move, and I'm mainly meaning about the rocks when someone is flying side to side. You did pull off the illusion that they're actually moving, and I really like that. Same thing goes with the set design. I really like what you did here, but the lighting throughout all the environments felt pretty much the same, and I recommend trying to get more diverse kind of lightings for different environments. That way you don't just know, but you also feel that you're in a different place. And the pacing throughout the video was really good until the end, because the video just kind of ended. There was no kind of twist or impactful ending. The video just kind of finished. But with the effort you added onto the rest of the video, I feel like you can do better than that. This video has a lot of good things on it, but a lot of things are holding it back. But at the same time, the middle of the video was really well put together, and I really enjoyed it. So that's lifting it up to a 7.5 out of 10. I notice that no one pays attention when I say this, but when I review a video, the more you try, the more I'm going to review you for that. For example, if you try to make a whole movie, I'm going to review you for the effort it would have taken for a whole movie. But if you try to make something like a 10-second video, I'll review it as this 10-second video. And I'm saying that now because the next video is literally 20 minutes long. So you would expect me to go really harsh in the video since I have a lot of things to say about it. But the thing is that this video goes above and beyond what it even had to do to begin with. This video honestly feels like it comes from some series that would be on Cartoon Network. You can feel the heart and passion in it, even though there's no such thing as dialogue in this video, and I mean like spoken dialogue. But there's so many adventures, everything just looks pretty, and not in the way like Ed Bound tries to make everything look all flashy. I mean it in a way that actually looks like it has a soul, you know what I mean? And I had a great time watching this video since there's a lot of comedic stuff that just happens, and it feels all natural too. Nothing that happens feels unnatural. Everything just feels like it was bound to happen with this kind of environment. The stuff I'm saying sounds pretty vague, but you guys gotta watch the video yourselves to understand. But one issue though is that the camera cannot get very focused with the close-ups, so I recommend getting a macro lens. But honestly, the set design is really good, the animation is really good, the writing is pretty good, the editing is also really good, especially with like the dancing cow and all that. Editing doesn't have to be all up in your face, but it can also just enhance the video. With the charisma alone, this video is a 9.5 out of 10. I honestly recommend everyone to watch this video and take some notes. Squidward's new home production already has a good record in this YouTube channel, making basically perfect brick films, and this is another example of that. His videos here and the ones, especially the ones in the back rooms, always have this ominous feeling, and it's also because of his cinematography where he goes live actions for some parts and you just get to see a whole scenery of the video and all the hard work that goes into his set design. And especially here with Squidward with the very dim lighting, it just looked beautiful. The hard lightings on the side, I forgot the name of that kind of outline lighting, but it just looks beautiful here. I've dreamed to have parts that look like that, and this guy can just nail it. Same way you can see a cinematographer behind the scenes in a movie, and sometimes you can just tell who the cinematographer is. It goes the same thing with this guy's channel. You can just tell when you're watching one of his videos. There's a unique style that just bleeds all across his videos, and I just love it so much. Currently, there's several videos in the series, and with a short runtime, they still get everything done, and it's just amazing. Definitely worth a watch. 10 out of 10. I really like this attitude your video has with the rushed speaking where no one has time to breathe and they all just finish each other's sentences, but immediately right after everyone already has something to say, kind of like if they're rushing their script. But instead of feeling lazy, it has this attitude, and I just love how cool it is. I might steal that for myself, but if there's any part in the video it didn't work, it was definitely the first scene, but I'm glad it was really short because it just didn't have the same vibe the rest of the video had, so it just kind of felt too forced. I've noticed that when a lot of people go by a 4:3 aspect ratio, they always get the camera tighter and they forget that everything has to be framed specifically for it to be 4:3, and I'm glad to see that you took that and noticed because everything is just way wider. And the environments are so energetic. I don't know, I just love it, especially with that one guy. Basically just wheels and machine, just having him in there. I don't know, it's just so awesome. There's no need to go that extra mile, but you just do, and that just makes the video feel just so much better. I don't know if you guys watched Amazing World of Gumball growing up, but it feels like that. And when the first time I was watching the fight scene in the end of the video, I was gonna complain that there was just not a lot of energy, but I like that you just kept that way. You kept that same tone that, yeah, it's real now. You didn't go the lazy route by having everyone take turn by turn. They all got in the arena and they just took it like men, and it was gory. I just loved it. What's the best way I can describe this video? Reality feels slightly elevated like an Amazing World of Gumball, but the reaction to things just feels very grounded in reality, and I just love how you do it. This video honestly put me in a good mood, so 10 out of 10. The voice acting here is really good. I would just work on more on the introduction of the video. Instead of spending 20 seconds on people introducing who they are, I would just have them introduce each other, and halfway through, they begin to get shot like they were in the original version. You could have also done that in the ending of the video when they crashed, and then there was a clone trooper speaking to the other one from a different location. You could have had his audio overlap as they crashed. That way everything just ties itself and moves all silky smooth. And for the green screens, I would just try to get more leveled out green screen paper, but if you use some kind of fabric like cotton, I recommend ironing it. That way any wrinkles aren't visible when you added the light, removing that greenish noise on top. I really did like what you did with effects though, especially with the smoke. You made it move fast, and honestly, I'm gonna copy that off of you. Despite the flaws, it's still an enjoyable video, so 7 out of 10. You should keep on practicing your consistency of the framing, because sometimes it just feels too tight, then sometimes it just feels like there's too much headroom, and then sometimes it feels like there's not enough headroom. Balance that out, because I feel like you have the skill to do so, especially with your laser effects. It's proof that you just have the skill to do a lot of things. This also goes for the camera switch. I really like how you did it here. With a lot of parts, it was like each laser got a different camera angle, and you were consistent with it for a good amount of the video, so it always felt nice instead of random. Just like a Star Wars video early on in this video, having the illusion of something moving would have been great, especially with the aircrafts that you use here. It would have done a lot so it could keep the same kind of consistent energy you had with the figures on land. Also, the use of music would have been great in this video, since the in-between of sound effects, it just feels way too quiet. If not some air sound effects, acting as white noise would have helped you out. Since there's quiet and then there's it going too quiet. It's not noticeable usually by ear, but you can definitely feel it. We honestly went insane with the fights. There's nothing about the combat I can tell you to make it better, since I have not gone to your level yet. But this is honestly really solid. 8.5 out of 10. You might have done this on accident, but you did the technique I also use, which is when you're gonna go low on the set design, or you just don't have the resources. What you can do instead is that you can just go raw with the animation. And by that, I mean you can go crazier with the camera. You can just basically put the animation up to 11. You know, just making the video all up in your face. Just making everything feel way more on purpose, if you get what I'm saying. That's also why I'm forgiving you for having the music get unnecessarily loud halfway through the video, because even though that's seen as amateur, it just feels way more aggressive, and that goes perfect with your animation style here. And it's clearly on purpose, since you could have at any time just had a theatrical look. You make your set design look 2D, but there were some parts where you just switched where the base plates were, and you just went bonkers with it, and I love it. But still try to make sure that the audio isn't always clipping, since on that part it just really felt accidental. But great job with your voice acting. For anyone else, this would have given you a lower grading, but you went all out with what you had, and it honestly made the video so much better. You can honestly keep on practicing that kind of style, and you're gonna go places. 7.8 out of 10. Okay, so this video actually did make me laugh on purpose, so right off the bat, you're getting some points for that. Part that made me laugh was the guy stealing the chair in the end. And this kind of humor for brick films, I honestly thought this died, like in quarantine. I love what you did here, but I feel like you could have gone all out with the set design, you know, by straight up making it look like India. And by that, I don't automatically mean that you have to go all stereotypical with the racism stuff, but I mean by like making the background just look way more crowded. You could have used paper cutouts, you could have gone crazy, honestly. Also, make sure to clean up your camera lens, since it feels like it has some oil on it. It could be from your fingers, I just honestly don't know. Clean it with some kind of cloth fabric. That always works for me. The comedy and the animation here is great. It did what it did, and it did it great, so I'm gonna give you an 8.5 out of 10. Great job with mixing the music and making it still not overlap with the audio all the time. This is the big issue I see a lot of people deal with, and I'm glad you didn't have that here. But you still have the same issue where the framing sometimes just cuts the top of their head. So make sure when you're framing a video, you're thinking about how you're gonna crop the top and bottom to get the aspect ratio you have right now. Luckily, this was not much of an issue for most of the videos, so even though it was still an issue in this video, it did lower. But honestly, this video was just so awesome. I honestly wouldn't mind if your series ends here, since it's gone a long way and it's proven itself worthy. Even though there was a heavy use of unnatural colors, it always felt natural with the scene, since the lighting was very soft, and it also really mixed well with the white figures. And I also love that the colors really contrast with each other, and usually when I try to do this, it always blends with each other. Especially when the house was being set on fire, you could really tell where the reds were and where the blues were, and it really popped. I'm gonna try to steal that from you from an upcoming video of mine. This is some of the most tension I've seen in an action brick film, and I just love it here. I know I've been repeating myself throughout this long form review on how much I love some kind of stuff. Honestly, there's a lot of bangers here, and the heavy tension with the music and the action in this video of Dan Wick is a great summary of it. I have no more to say about this. You guys need to watch it yourself. 10 out of 10. This video honestly deserved it. I did mention this in the short form review version of this video, but I really like the impact of speed. I believe, or at least it feels like in some parts you just went live action just for a hint of a second. But whatever you're doing for the speed and impact, just keep on doing it. It's honestly amazing. But please make sure the camera zoomed out and try to get some lighting that makes the blacks not get that muddy gray look you get on phone cameras. This is mainly an issue for the first half of the video, because later on it gets this teal look, and I honestly really like how you did it. It would look better if you zoomed out and you got a macro lens, since that would have perfectly fit the vibe. But for now, this is a 7 out of 10. I still see a lot of potential here. You just need to tap into it, and you clearly are able to, because you clearly have style. You just basically need to embrace that style to the maximum. I honestly wish you could improve your audio quality because it does not match the level of quality I see in the video parts here. I believe I said something like that in the short form review for this. It's honestly so true. The impacts and just the small stuff look amazing here. Just try to work on the lighting now, since at times it just feels very studio-like and not very sun kind of like, if you get what I mean. But for animation-wise, there's nothing I can really tell you because it's just ahead of me. As a whole, this whole video has been put together really well, and I know I've been really repetitive with the ratings I give videos, but this is easily an 8.5 out of 10. Alright, for this, you could have used more sound effects. And also, some of the framing here is really good, but then it just like cuts off to something that's mediocre. So even though your framing is inconsistent, I really appreciate when parts look really good. That's the best way I can mention this video. Some parts are just very mid, and that's just me being honest, but then some parts just look really good. Like on one part, I feel like you could have done better with the dialogue by instead of having text, you could have had them speaking, for example. And then some other parts you just excel at, for example, in the gas part, you drew it, but I like that you added some depth by having some figures not fully covered yet. So even though the drawings are 2D, it feels more 3D. And they've all around you didn't want dim lighting, that's fine, but you could have also embraced the very artificial lighting by having it just come straight from above, so it feels more security office like, you know what I'm saying? Because you went more for the studio route where it comes from one of the corners, which I usually recommend for people, but for this style I don't know if that would work the same. It was a great job for the set design, especially the tunnels is some of the best stuff I've seen for it yet. I really gotta step up my game because I really just go for the white and gray, then you add stuff like that little curvature in the walls. I don't tell this enough to people, but it's great set design here. I like what you did, but you could have added more sounds, especially like atmospheric sounds that would have added to the tone of the video, which is why I'm giving you 7 out of 10. And just like the other guy before, I see a lot of potential, but honestly you just need to keep on practicing so you can entirely fulfill it. Because if I could, I would give this video a higher rating, but I believe you have the power to squeeze more juice out of this and have a lot of space to improve it. Honestly, I'm so glad you made this video super fast paced because it literally matched every single other thing you did in the video. I like that instead of having crazy fight scenes, you got like PNGs and you're adding lasers on it, and then when you're using your actual like mouth to make the sound effects, that gave it a very amateur yet very fun feeling. And when you give a video genuine soul, a video cannot be bad because the passion in it makes it really entertaining. Like, I don't know if you ever read a Captain Underpants book or read the movie, but it kind of feels the same way as, dude, I forgot the name of the kids, but yeah, the kids when they make the little comics, it's basically like that. It gives that same vibe, and for me that makes it really hard to critique. So I'm not deciding to give this video a rating, I'm just giving you a shout out since I watched a bit more of your other videos and it has that same kind of energy and I actually love it. So yeah, shout out to you. This video has some crazy set designs, and I like that for the majority of the video, we actually got to see the whole thing, and you just went crazy with that kind of stuff. And to top it all off, I really like that you added the smoke effects every time like a machine got injured. Because with everything being so wide, it was sometimes hard to see where exactly something was being shot at or who was shooting, and this is where you have to bring up using different close-ups, so it's easier to see, because especially for the droids, it was sometimes somewhat difficult to see. It was easier for the clone troopers since they obviously contrast with being mainly just white, but that was mainly an issue, especially with the framing sometimes, especially in the closed-in parts where we're in a room. But that's basically it. Outside of that, I loved everything you did here. I have to give you 9 out of 10 for this. You did so much and you were so close to getting to the max level. Alright, that's the people I chose for this review, and if you want to be in the next one, you're gonna have to tell me in the comment sections. But for now, see you guys later. Like, subscribe, especially share, and see you guys next time.